one thing that strikes me, and it strikes me because a recent guest on the podcast is a guy called Sir Simon Baron-Cohen, who is the professor of developmental neuropsychiatry at Cambridge, and he runs the Autism Research Centre. And he has a what he calls a systemizing, empathizing, two-dimensional model of the autistic spectrum. It's not a line for him. It's multi-dimensional, but two dimensions. And indeed, he's done some very interesting work in and around Eindhoven, the kind of IT capital of the Netherlands, and looking at the rates of the kind of Silicon Valley for Europe, home of Philips for many years, and so on. He's done some really interesting work there with hundreds of thousands of people looking at the incidence of autistic traits and otherwise. But it strikes me, thinking about, and he talks about systemizing, building systems, so thinking journals, tools, platforms, solutions, AI, and empathizing as being two critical dimensions in what maybe it would traditionally have been called male and female brains and ways of operating. What it strikes me, kind of the work that you did in this position of benign neglect, I love that description. But the work you did there, developing this center of expertise around inclusivity and inclusive research, kind of harnessing the power of the systems that the company had been building since 1880, has been absolutely fast-tracked by the kind of empathetic realization of your CEO and then growing leaders around. Is that a fair characterization?
Well, it's a beautiful characterization. Absolutely. It's almost like the two forms of intelligence have come together, and so we're seeing an awful lot accelerate. And I think we had past CEOs that were very well-meaning, but the only way they could, for instance, really connect with a subject like gender equity was to think about, well, my daughter has now entered the work system. That was sort of the path then. And, oh, yeah, she's not having such an easy time. Oh, I didn't realize there was a problem. I don't mean to be too reductive, but it's a completely different ballgame when you're working with a leader who has a deep understanding and then surrounds herself with very talented leaders who understand the issues and the need for a holistic approach to, so it's not the commercial part of the commercial approach is essential. It's the bedrock of a company. But, how do you work with people? How do you listen to them? It's just changed the entire dynamic of Elsevier. And I think of her as a very brilliant and disarming presence, literally disarming, like how really connecting with people, and that ethos, the ethos is spread through the company. So it's and I just to mention that my eldest son is on the autism spectrum, and so I appreciated your description, and I think I'm very aware of these different approaches, these different sides to ourselves, and I think empathy is a big driver in the work I do. It's really trying to understand the needs of our partner, which in a good customer relationship is equally important, but trying to really understand what they need, trying to co-create, trying to make something that's bigger than bigger than the different parts.
To find out what kind of data storyteller you are, why not take our data storytelling scorecard? It takes just 2 minutes to complete and will give you a personalized report right away. Visit data-storytelling.scoreapp.com or follow the link in the show notes.